Today I'm going to be reviewing the new 2023 Wacom One 13 and its smaller 12-inch sibling. These are both great display tablets for beginners or those who are on a budget. I'll compare the two sizes, talk about their key features, and give you my overall thoughts on these devices. Quick disclaimer, this is not a sponsored video, but Wacom did send me these tablets unconditionally for review purposes. All opinions in this video are my own. The Wacom One 12 and 13 display tablets are a step up from the entry-level tablets we looked at in the first review of this series. They offer all the features of the entry-level tablets, plus a high-resolution display you can draw directly onto. This feels much more intuitive than drawing on one device and looking up at another. The Wacom One 12 and 13 are equipped with a variety of features, but let's start with the display since it's what distinguishes these from the less expensive models. The display on the Wacom One 12 and 13 is in 1080p resolution with 100% sRGB color coverage. This isn't as detailed as some of the higher-end Cintiq displays, but it's more than adequate for all sorts of tasks, including art and design. The screen has an anti-glare surface with anti-fingerprint properties, and there is very little space between the glass and the tablet sensor, making it virtually parallax-free. Both tablets are low-profile, lightweight, and very portable, with the 13-inch model coming in at just under 2 pounds and the 12-inch version at about 1.5 pounds. These are the lightest display tablets Wacom has to offer. The 12-inch model has an active drawing area of 11.6 inches diagonally, while the 13-inch model is 13.3 inches diagonally. Both tablets have a very thin bezel surrounding them, with a bit of buffer zone between that and the drawing area. One key difference between the 12 and 13-inch models is that the 12 has an Energy Star logo in the bottom left. This is just a sticker and can be peeled off. Since the 12 is smaller, I assume this means it consumes significantly less power than the 13, or at least enough to meet that certification. These are also the thinnest display tablets Wacom has to offer, with both tablets being less than half an inch thick. They get slightly thicker if you add the optional protective case, but we'll come back to that. As far as how comfortable they are to draw on, the 12-inch model feels comparable to the medium Wacom One, but it's wider. Obviously, the 13-inch model is larger, but not by much. Both feel sort of cramped as someone who likes to make large gestures. You're going to find yourself running off the edge of the tablet a lot since the display is small and there isn't much of a bezel. If you're accustomed to drawing in a medium-sized notebook, then these sizes might be okay for you. But if you can afford something larger, I would highly recommend it. Considering that these are entry-level tablets that are supposed to be compact, the size is actually a benefit if you're thinking in terms of portability or usage in a classroom on a student's desk. Before we move on to the next feature, I will mention that I'm saving the comparisons between the newer Wacom One 13 and the previous generation for another video. Another distinguishing feature is that the 13-inch Wacom One supports a multi-touch. The 12, medium, and small versions do not. Multi-touch is a very useful feature to have because it greatly speeds up navigation and requires less peripherals to bring with you. For example, I don't need a mouse since I can do all my navigation with touch and the pen. And if you're doing art or design work, multi-touch allows you to pan, zoom, and rotate your canvas intuitively. Wacom One tablets are compatible with many software programs and can be used for art, note-taking, document annotation, 3D modeling, video and audio editing, and gaming. Because the display is smaller and does not support touch, I'd say the 12-inch version is better for image editing and note-taking, but for art or anything that requires a lot of precision, I'd choose the 13. The entire line of the 2023 Wacom One tablets support the same pen. This pen is pressure sensitive with over 4,000 pressure levels. You can use pen pressure to vary the width, opacity, and other properties of your brush in art applications. This pen is cordless and battery-free. It resembles a ballpoint ink pen. It doesn't look as fancy as the premium Wacom pens do, but it gets the job done. The pen can be customized with or without a clip for attaching it to your pocket. The front and back ends of the pen come in various colors and can be selected when you purchase these tablets on Wacom's website. You can also purchase these tablets in retail stores, but in that case, the pen will come in the white and gray combination. To swap out the parts, simply unscrew the pen. If you're interested in learning more about Wacom One accessories, I have a video on that. The pen has 2 buttons you can program to perform a variety of shortcuts. There isn't an eraser on the pen like there is on the more expensive models, but you can set one of the pen buttons to erase when you hold it. Tilt is also supported, which will allow you to vary other brush properties like the angle or dab shape to get a more natural drawing experience. It does a great job of giving you a calligraphy or pencil shading effect. Also included are 10 spare nibs and a metal nib remover, since the nibs can wear down over time. Since this is a slicker display, it won't wear the nibs down as quickly as the smaller medium versions would. If you don't want to have to buy more nibs, then that might be reason enough to get the 12 or 13 over the smaller medium Wacom One. Optional felt and elastomer nibs are also supported. If the default pen doesn't do it for you, any Wacom EMR pens will work. For example, the Staedtler Norris digital pencil feels just like drawing and writing with a real pencil, and it even supports pen tilt. If you prefer a thicker ink pen, there is also the Lamy All-Star. While you can use multiple pens on these devices, the Wacom property settings for the pen buttons, pressure, etc. will remain fixed, and the pens cannot be programmed with unique settings. And no, Wacom's other non-EMR pens like the Pro Pens will not work on the Wacom One line. Both the Wacom 12 and 13 can connect to your computer in a couple of different ways. If your computer has a Thunderbolt or USB-C port that supports both video and data transmission, then you can connect these with a single USB-C cable. If you don't mind drawing power from your laptop or computer, then this is by far the best way to connect the tablet. If you don't want to draw power from your device, then you can use a second USB-C cable with a power adapter to get it from an outlet. The other option is a bulky 3-in-1 cable. This cable connects to the tablet via USB-C and splits out to an HDMI cable, a USB-A cable for data, and a USB-C cable with a power adapter for powering the device. If you order online, you can choose which cables to include, which could save you money and waste less resources. Although if you already have a USB-C cable, it's hard to say if it will even fit because the ports are inset pretty far and have a unique shape. As you can see, this third-party one does not, but I have others that do. My retail version of the tablets came with two USB-C cables, which are 3 feet 6 inches long. One of these cables can be connected to a power adapter. I don't know if they sell a retail version with the other cable option, but it's possible. If your computer does not have a USB-C port, you can use a third-party USB-C to USB-A adapter like this. As a bonus, if you connect with only a single USB-C cable, then the other USB-C port on the tablet can connect to a peripheral like a mouse, shortcut controller, or USB drive. Since the port is sort of inset, you may need to connect a USB-C hub like I've done here. If you're curious if the HDMI adapter works on the hub, the answer is no. Moving on to the exterior of these devices, they share the design aesthetic of the small and medium Wacom One with a white border and backside. They also have that same pen holder affixed to the top edge. You simply slide the pen in and it stays attached pretty well. On the far right side of the top edge, you'll find a power button which can power the display on and off. There's an LED beside it that shows when the tablet is powered on. Holding the power button for a couple of seconds powers it off. To the left of that is a button that opens the display settings. I'll come back to this. To the left of that is a switch you can use to enable or disable touch. This is of course only available on the 13-inch model. And then on the far left side of the top edge, there are two USB-C ports where you connect the video, data, and power cables. Beside that is a small slot you can use to attach a security lock so no one can steal the tablet off your desk. Flip the device over and you'll find 4 round rubber feet that keep the tablet from sliding on your desk. The back side has sort of a rough, grainy texture to it. Since I've already gone over this in 2 other videos, I won't say too much about how eco-friendly the packaging and device are, but I will mention it just in case you're wondering why everything looks like a paper grocery store bag. Really, the only feature missing from this tablet are express keys. These are external buttons that are often found on the higher-end tablets Wacom has to offer. Express keys are very useful for performing shortcuts. Without them, you'll have to rely on your 2 pen buttons or the on-screen buttons and radial menu. You can also purchase the optional Wacom Express Key remote or a controller like a Stream Deck or Loop Deck. In addition to the customizable pen parts I already mentioned, you can purchase a variety of other accessories on Wacom's website. First, there is an optional stand that is compatible with both the 12 and 13-inch models. At first, it doesn't look much like a stand, but these things fold out and the tablet rests on it like so. It's very stable, and it certainly does the trick for putting your tablet at an angle. But it doesn't attach to the tablet, so you can't easily slide it around to reposition it on the desk. I find the stand kind of awkward to use, but it is far more portable than any other stand I've tried. The stand is also magnetic and can attach firmly to a metal desktop like those found in classrooms. Also available is a clear hard plastic back case. This protects the bottom of the tablet from scratches and filth, and also allows you to add stickers or other sorts of customization that might make it easier to distinguish your tablet from your peers. It simply snaps onto the back, and the rubber feet stick through the 4 holes. It can easily be popped off by pressing the feet. If you're moving this tablet around to and from home, you really need to be careful not to scratch the display. You might want to consider purchasing the protective pouch if you're moving it a lot. There is also a compartment to store your cables and stand, which could help to keep everything bundled together. The Wacom One is compatible with Windows, macOS, Android, and even Chromebooks. In many cases, you can simply plug the tablet into your device and it should begin working. On Windows and Mac, you will want to install the Wacom driver so that you get the full set of features and you can customize the tablet settings. For example, you may want to calibrate the cursor, customize the pen buttons and touch, or map the tablet to a different display. If you're using multiple displays, you may want to extend them so that you can have 2 separate screens. There is also a display toggle feature you can set to one of your pen buttons that will allow you to toggle the pen input between multiple displays. Connecting to an Android device can be kind of tricky. A newer smartphone with a USB-C port that can output video might work just fine with a direct USB-C connection. This is a Samsung Galaxy S23, and as you can see, it allows me to access my phone apps on the Wacom One in DeX mode. You will of course need to connect the power cables as well so you don't drain your phone battery. Unfortunately, my older Samsung Galaxy S10 does not work with a direct connection to USB-C. It's possible the 3-in-1 cable would work, but I don't have one to test it. I do know that the S10 Plus did work with the first generation Wacom One 13 and the X cable. I tried the older X cable on the newer Wacom One and it does not work. An OTG adapter and USB-C hub don't help either. I won't go into detail about using the Wacom One with Android since I covered that in a separate video, but it works pretty well even for digital art. These can be connected to Chromebook as well, so if you're looking for a low-cost digital art setup, I would recommend that over an Android smartphone. The software you use to configure these tablets is very easy to use. A wizard walks you through all of the key features of the tablet and describes how to use it. You can customize the pen properties, touch properties, and set up the on-screen shortcuts. And at the bottom are some helpful video tutorials. You can learn how to use the tablet and create specific projects. I also offer a library of helpful tutorials for digital art and other creative projects. While you're here, you can also access registration to claim your bundled software. To access the display settings, you simply press the button on the top edge of the tablet. This opens a menu and you can use the pen to navigate. This is the first tablet I've seen that lets you use your pen rather than have to press buttons. This is far easier, and I hope all display tablets support this in the future. You can also toggle between the left and right USB-C input sources. Although I can't test it, this implies to me that you might be able to connect the Wacom One to 2 different computers that support a single USB-C connection. The brightness of the display is about half of its maximum by default. You can crank this up, but it will consume more power. An important consideration if you're drawing power from your laptop. The maximum brightness of the Wacom One 12 is around 244 CD, and the Wacom One 13 is around 288 CD, based on my measurements here at home. For the color profile, you can choose from native, sRGB, or custom color modes, and you can adjust the contrast. I've chosen sRGB and then color calibrated the display. As you can see, it makes a difference. There are also some miscellaneous properties to change the LED brightness and disable the pen buttons. While there are many free and paid applications you can use with the Wacom One, Wacom also provides some of their own for you to use. These are more geared toward online learning. There are even some well-known applications like Affinity Photo and Clip Studio Paint Pro that you will get access to for a period of time. Registration of your tablet is required to access these apps. This is made easy with a QR code printed on the back of the tablet. Now for the price. Despite being an entry-level tablet, once you add all of the accessories, these end up being pretty pricey. The cheapest configuration of the 12-inch model is $330.85, and that's without the cable. Adding the cable makes it $345.80. The cheapest configuration of the 13-inch model is $530.85 without the cable. Adding the cable makes it $545.80. But if you're going to be using this tablet with an Android smartphone, then you will need 2 USB-C cables and the power adapter, making it $590.70. If you get everything, the 13-inch model with a 3-in-1 cable, power adapter, back case, and stand, you're looking at $675.65. Luckily, ground shipping is free for me, but this is no longer entry-level pricing. To put things in perspective, the first generation Wacom One 13 is only $299.95, and it comes with a pen, an X cable, power adapter, and folding legs so you don't need a stand. And the Cintiq 16 is only $599.95 and comes with folding legs, cables, and the Pro Pen 2, plus the screen is larger. Aside from Android compatibility and the compact size, I can't see much of a reason to choose the Wacom One 13 over the Cintiq 16. It might also be worth looking at the price for a refurbished or used Cintiq if you're going to spend almost $700 anyway. In addition to ordering these tablets online, you can also purchase them in retail stores, but the price will be slightly different. While the price after adding accessories can be a little off-putting, these are still excellent devices that would be great to use for any beginner or artist on a budget. Beyond Wacom, I wouldn't recommend other tablet manufacturers because in my opinion, their quality is not as good. If you're looking for the most affordable display tablets that are worth buying, the Wacom One 12 and 13 are a good choice. That's all for this review. If you'd like an in-depth comparison of how the newer Wacom One 13 compares to the first generation, I have a video on that. Thanks for watching and I'll see you next time.